he turns and looks at Jesus, and Jesus looks at him, and Peter knows that Jesus heard every word. But you know what? That pain was worse than the physical pain. Have you ever been hurt by someone close to you? And that pain is physical? You know what it does to Jesus? This separation from his Father, this Judas betraying him, this Peter swearing like that, you know what it does? It puts Jesus physiologically in such a point of stress, physical stress, not just emotional stress, but physical stress, that he sweats blood through his pores. There is a medical term for that. I don't know what it is, but he's not the only one to have ever gone through that.
Starts with a D.
And then they take him to Golgotha. And I don't know if it's true or not. I didn't hear that the other two thieves were nailed to the cross, but Jesus they nailed to the cross. And those Roman soldiers, I think when they were doing that, they weren't sure that they had put padding on the cross so that the splinters wouldn't hurt him anymore. I don't think when they lifted that cross, they said, oh, be careful, we got to put it down in the hole easily. No, we're told just the opposite. That we're told that it just is dropped into that hole, and searing pain goes through his body. But we're told, again, this physical pain is hardly felt for the mental anguish of what you and I are causing him. And then that same person that was in the garden comes to him and says, these people don't appreciate you. Come down from the cross. And then human beings inhabited by demons, what do they say? If you're the Son of God, come down from the cross. What did the thieves say? Yeah, come down. Yeah, save yourself and save us too. And they're throwing it in his face. You know, Jesus is human. He desires that comfort and sympathy that humans could give him, and there was no one to give it to him. Thank goodness for a thief who will die at his side, who says, remember me when you come. Probably about the only light for Jesus that came through that day. Amen. Could he have come down from the cross? Could he have? Yes, he could have. Glenn doesn't agree with me. But why doesn't he come down from the cross? Because it's for you and I. And that's the why part of this question. If this is the everlasting gospel, why is it considered the everlasting gospel? And I think, and we don't have a lot of time to talk about this, but I think what we're seeing is somebody came to God and said, you know what, I think I got a better government. And this to the world is the results of that better government. You know, we're told that sin will never raise its ugly head again. Does it make sense to you now? Can you imagine 1 billion years from now somebody coming and saying, you know what, God, I don't think Satan was cruel enough. I don't think he was evil enough. I think I can break your love. Give me a chance. Do you think that'll ever happen again? So where does the power of this, where's the power of this to change your life? Let me ask you, as you stand there with that placard right now, are you saying, you know what, Jesus, I'm sorry to put a little bit more on you, but hang on to this a minute. I want to go do this. Anybody? We're told it would be well for us to spend a thoughtful hour once a year. Once a month? How about just on Sabbath? We're told to spend a thoughtful hour contemplating the life of Christ, especially these scenes that you and I have been talking about today. Why? Because it is the power in your life to say no to sin. Amen. But if you go too long between thinking about it, it's too easy to say, or not think about it, or whatever. Is it any wonder Satan does not want you to think about this? Does not want us to think about this. I want to talk about this one more time. It says, in this neglected part, in this dwelling upon the sufferings of Christ and Him crucified, in this neglected part of the ministry will be found the greatest instrument in converting souls. Do you have to go to somebody and say, Sabbath is not Sunday, the dead are not still alive, hell is not forever, to convert them? This is what converts people.
Amen.
This is what converts people. And it leads to a high standard of holiness. Is there anything in your life where you say, well, I know it may not be right, but it's not that wrong? Now do you see what it does to our Savior? Are you willing to do that? Or are you willing to say, you know what, I think I need to go in a different direction? I love the song. And I'm not going to sing it to you. But I'll give you the words. It says, I was in the crowd the day that Jesus died. And as He hung upon the cross, His mother cried. I saw the crown of thorns He wore. I saw the stripes upon His back. I saw the water and the blood flow out, and the sky turned black. My mind was filled with anger. My heart was filled with shame. This man only brought healing. Who could bring him pain? Why does it seem the strong always victimize the weak? And suddenly I found myself standing to my feet, and I cried, who nailed Him there? This child of peace and mercy. Who nailed Him there? Come and face me like a man. Who nailed Him there? Then the crowd began to mock me. And I cried, oh my God, I just don't understand. When I turned and saw the hammer in my hand. The reason He was there and the reason that He stayed there is we put Him there, but yet He loved us. He loved us so.
Amen.
And that's why He stayed there. And maybe Glenn's right. Maybe His love was so powerful that He couldn't abandon us.
Amen.
We should spend a thoughtful hour every day. For closing song, my wife and I are going to sing.